So I've had to do a lot of things to this car since I picked it up. It was a rental car. It was not treated all that kindly, although you can't tell that from the paint and the wheels. They look great. There was a trim piece missing from the mirror, the passenger side mirror, and some things like that. There was a front license plate bracket that needed to go away. The rear license plate bracket was rusted, um, and some other things. An alignment panel gap on the rear trunk lid. So one of the first things I needed to do was get the front license plate off. And there are YouTube videos that show how to do that. I assumed it was just going to be a couple of screws and it would come out and leave a couple of holes in the bumper cover. I guess the positive of that is no, there's no screws, so no holes. The downside of that is they used really pretty strong automotive adhesive strips to stick it on, and it took almost 30 minutes with a heat gun to get it warm enough to pop off, and then another 45 minutes of scraping and cleaning and using Goo Gone to get the rest of the adhesive off of the bumper. But the result is a pretty front end. Another item on this used Tesla that needs fixed. There's a trim piece under here that's now missing. I just discovered by looking at camera view. Look at that. I don't think I'm supposed to be able to stick my finger in there. I don't think I'm supposed to be able to see electronics. The most glaring problem with the outside of the rental Tesla I bought is this panel gap. And it's so bad you would think that must be the result of an accident or something. But I saw so many people on YouTube, especially with Model Ys, not necessarily Model 3s, having this same issue, even though the hinges on a Model Y are completely different. But that's the hinge point right about here for the trunk lid, and it just doesn't line up at all. The other side is fine. So what I'm hoping is when I look at those hinges, I'll see the difference in the way the trunk lid mates with the hinge, and I'll be able to just make a small adjustment and at least get this top part flush. I'm not really concerned about how wide the gap maintains. Just get that flush, because that's practically acting as a wing at this point. That's crazy. Okay, here's the hinge on the bad boy side. Here's the hinge on the good side. And I think this bolt here is where the adjustment mostly needs to be made. This little flange is inset from the metal here. And over here, it's almost flush. So I think this needs to come down a bit. All right, my next step is to go find the right bolt or right socket. Okay, the answer to the question, what socket size is it? It's 16 millimeter. No, sorry, 13 millimeter. And I picked it right the first time by eyeballing it. Okay, I moved it. You can see where the white rings are. The white stuff that got uncovered by moving it. Let's see if that did anything. I believe the adjustment I made it worse, which I do not understand. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, there's adjustment number 2. See how that worked. That's a lot better. Oh yeah. Wow. These really small adjustments made a big difference. Does the back still line up? Taillight still lines up. Good. I think we've solved it. Next on the hit list is the cabin air filter, which I'm not looking forward to doing because you got to take off all this trim underneath here and then pop that side panel off and take a screw cover off and fetch them out, and there's two of them stacked, and it just doesn't look like any fun. But there is a funky smell to this, having been a rental car, and this will give me a sign of whether that cabin filter's ever been changed before, if that's going to help enough, or if I'm going to have to do other mitigations to get rid of the smell. But we'll start with a simple cabin air replacement. After way too much labor, I have gotten the cabin air filters out. Here they are. They have Tesla logos on them, so I'm wondering and suspecting these are original. I can't imagine Hertz springing for Tesla branded parts and replacing them, although I guess anything's possible. They are heavy-ish. They feel like they have been damp or wet. This bottom one is a little damp, and I don't know how to judge how dirty that is because it's got charcoal in it. So they don't look. There's a little bit of mildew, black mold on the bottom of this, which was, I guess that would be expected if they've been in there for 2 years. The bottom of this tray does, where the moisture accumulates. But in general, they don't look super terrible. There's a lot of bug stuff, leaf stuff on the forward-facing side. So anyway, I'm going to get those replaced. That is so recessed up in there. The videos I saw on YouTube, people seem to be pretty successful about getting cameras in there and stuff. And I'm just like, how? I mean, you have a multi-jointed arm or something? I don't know how you could do that. But I may try to turn on the flash on the video camera here and poke it down there and just see what it sees. Okay, that didn't look too terrible to me. I'm going to go ahead and put the new filters in, start closing this up. Okay, got the new ones in, got it closed up. Getting that cover back on was harder than I expected. Again, it's because the angle, and up at the top of it, it clips into a hinge-like thing and then covers up. And then because of those tabs on the air filters, it wants to pop out. They act like springs and keep it from sitting there. So you've got one hand up in there holding it in, but your other hand's propping you up from the floor. How do you get the screw in? And so it was difficult. Once I got it started, it was okay, but boy, it took several tries. Anyway, now I've got to get these two panels put back on, and then we're done. Okay, all buttoned up. Now maybe do a little sweeping and move on to the next part. Can you hear that? There's almost a gurgling sound too from up front. Very much a gurgling sound. I've plugged it into my home charger, so it's charging at 7 kilowatts, and that much battery management stuff is going on. That's just, I guess I'm a little concerned that I can hear the water. Almost like, is it full enough? It's under here. Is that noise normal? I mean the water noise. The pump noise I understand. Curious. Another thing that needs taken care of is this rear bracket. The screw holes in the Tesla bracket were stripped out, and so the dealer used these really oversized ones up there, and then the one bolt that came out down here they reused, but this side couldn't be reused because it couldn't come out because it's all rusted. So I need to take this plate off, take that bracket off. I've got replacement grommets to mount the new bracket, and I've got a new bracket from Amazon, and also the original screws, a set of new original screws. So hopefully we can clean this up and get rid of those incorrect screws. Turns out these ones that are into the grommet that hold this bracket on are Torx. You can see the damage that was done to this. These screw inserts are rusted out. These three are missing, and they used big ass screws just to go straight into the plastic here. So we're replacing this whole frame. It looks like these grommets are actually fine. You've got little rubber seals on them too. So I'm gonna leave those in and not replace them, but I'm gonna clean up behind here and then mount the new plate bracket. I cleaned it up, but then I noticed all the damage. Rusty dent hole. Rusty dent hole. Rusty dent hole. Rusty hole. This went all the way through, and this just dinged. So all four corners of the license plate, they used screws that damaged the car. Excuse all that gunfire. It just happens out here for no reason. So I'm gonna have to do something about that so that rust doesn't get worse. I mean, for now I'm gonna go ahead and put this plate on, but I'm gonna have to see about getting that rust removed and that metal protected. So there's the new bracket on, looking way much better. And there is that. Proper. Another thing that needs done is replace these wiper blades. I've pressed the wiper service button and it popped them up to this location. You can clearly see that the one on the passenger side is much shorter than the one on the driver's side. I've got two Tesla original replacements, and let's put those on. It does take quite a reach. I am too short a person to get there. Oof. Whew. Okay, that's one. gone really hard to pull out. All right. New blades. So regarding this mirror trim piece that's missing, turns out Tesla doesn't sell that piece. They only have the whole mirror assembly, but of course Amazon does. And so I got this. And reading some comments, people had said they had taken to gluing it back on instead of just relying on the clips. I'm not ready to go to that level yet, but I am going to try to clip this on and see what happens. Looks like it's lined up. Oh. All right, well, that seems to have gone on really well. Time will tell. So I have had the interior detailed and the carpets cleaned, hoping that that takes care of the residual rental car smells that are happening. Drove for about half an hour with all the windows down after picking it up to air it out. And now I've taken out the fabric floor mats. I'm letting it air out another hour or so, and then I can finally button this project up. Put in these all-weather floor mat pieces that are waiting to go in.